Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, for allowing me to testify on this House Bill 5265. I want to commend all of you for working so hard to get to the bottom of this unemployment disaster we've all seen unfold over the last 2 years. And I also want to be clear, I've had a number of great conversations with men and women who work the phones trying to help people, and this is not an attack on them. I feel they're besieged by these mistakes and ineptitude as much as anybody. But recognize, as a small business owner, I don't view unemployment as an entitlement or a gift from the government. I paid into this system for decades, and I expect it to be there and working for my people when they need it. It's not optional. We paid for this service, and we demand better. My bill was born out of sheer frustration over how our state has treated our residents. To understand, we need to go back to March and April of 2020. Things were changing so fast as we struggled to deal with this new virus. Our businesses were being forced to close, and people were being forbidden from working. At one point, we were even forbidden from buying garden hoses, if you remember. I'll never forget being told by my own government that I was non-essential. As far as those forced into unemployment, the rules were changing every day. All of a sudden, self-employed people were eligible. Part-time employees were eligible. Additional federal benefits were available. The rules and communications about those rules were so confusing. And if I were a resident, no longer allowed to work, wondering whether I qualified for unemployment, the way I'd find out is by applying. And if the state of Michigan reviewed my application and determined that I did in fact qualify, then confirmed that decision by sending me actual money, I'd assume I'd have my answer. We've learned, though, since then, of so much fraud and incompetence on the part of the UIA and on the part of fraudsters around the state, and mistake after mistake that has been made. The state of Michigan officially informed hundreds of thousands of people recently that they may have to pay that money back, even though they did everything right. In fact, in June, 650,000 people received that exact letter, and many more have been threatened since then. I find that appalling. Now, my bill has nothing to do with those who fraudulently sought and received benefits. They should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And the bill has nothing to do with those who chose to stay home on unemployment instead of working. They should be ashamed of themselves. But to those who applied in earnest for benefits, were told by the state that they qualified, and are now being threatened they may have to pay it back, this is unacceptable. Sorry, but in my mind, the state has to eat those costs, not our residents. Now, I want all of you to know I'm very open to improving this bill. I've heard a number of great amendments. Some have suggested that we need to make it a little bit tougher on those who applied fraudulently, and I agree. I'm totally fine with that. But the bottom line is I hope that each of you will join me in supporting our residents by supporting this bill. The state of Michigan must not be in the position of bullying our residents over their own mistakes.